Good afternoon, all. First, I want to say for today's video that I believe as a female autistic adult who has been speaking out publicly on my channel in my videos in response to what Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been saying about autism. I believe that I have just received a retaliatory strike from the Trump administration through DOJ to the IRS, and I will be doing a future video on that because y'all need to know if you speak out and stand up for late diagnosed autistic adult and you live in the U.S., what might happen to you. So that's where I've been. I'm still got more videos in the works that I was working on before this happened. And so the subject of today's video is that I have just filed a petition to the Department of Health and Human Services and Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So let's get into it. I'm going to read from my petition. Petition to the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Subject: demand for comprehensive action on late diagnosed autistic population and associated policies. Honorable Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and HHS. I, Mary Catherine Day Petrano, an autistic citizen journalist with an audience exceeding 32 million viewers, hereby submit this petition to the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., demanding immediate and comprehensive action on the following matters concerning the late diagnosed autism population, particularly focusing on the female presentation of autism. Number 1, undertake a comprehensive count of late diagnosed autistic individuals. I demand that HHS and RFK Jr. initiate and conduct a nationwide enumeration of all individuals diagnosed with autism later in life, and with particular attention to those presenting with the female phenotype. This count should be inclusive of all age groups and should correct historical underrepresentation in official statistics. Number 2, correct historical autism population data. I call for the rectification of past and current autism prevalence data that have excluded late diagnosed autistic individuals, especially females. These corrected figures should be reflected in all federal health statistics and reports. Freedom of Information Act request, FOIA. In conjunction with this petition, I hereby submit a FOIA request to obtain the following records. 1. Records pertaining to the enumeration of late diagnosed autistic individuals. All record studies, communications, and reports related to efforts by HHS or RFK Jr. to identify, count, or categorize late diagnosed autistic individuals, particularly those with a female presentation. 2. Records of coordination with other federal agencies. All records of communication and coordination between HHS, RFK Jr., and other federal agencies concerning the recognition and inclusion of late diagnosed autistic individuals in national health data and policies. 3. Records of actions taken against dissenting autistic adults. All records pertaining to any actions taken by HHS, RFK Jr., or other federal entities to target, misrepresent, or retaliate against autistic adults who have publicly expressed dissent or criticism regarding autism-related policies or practices. 4. records related to autism databases and registries. I also seek the records to address concerns about potential federal discrimination and misuse of power against a vulnerable and historically underserved population. If any portions of these records are withheld, please provide the specific exemptions claimed and release all reasonably segregatable portions. I request all documents in electronic format, PDF preferred, where available. Please confirm receipt of this request and let me know if any clarification is needed. Conclusion. The exclusion of late diagnosed autistic individuals, particularly females, from national health data and policies has led to systematic discrimination and misrepresentation. Immediate action is required to rectify these oversights and ensure that all autistic individuals are accurately represented and supported. I, the undersigned, demand that HHS and RFK Jr. take the necessary steps to address these issues promptly and transparently. Signed by me. Now, I have a first-hand personal stake in this petition, and I'll explain why. I made a Social Security disability claim in 2020 when I took my Social Security retirement. And after President Trump took office, a Social Security ALJ refused to obtain my gold standard autism diagnostic test, the ADIR, that my Dr. Michael Hoffman, MD, used as the basis to diagnose me with an autism spectrum disorder in April 2009, following which the ALJ pronounced that she was not going to recognize my valid adult autism diagnosis. This seemed to me to be a policy agenda being put out across multiple federal agencies by the Trump administration because, as we now see with HHS and RFK Jr., particularly in RFK Jr.'s April 16, 2025 Autism Press Conference, it seems they don't want to recognize late diagnosed autistic people or count us in the autism prevalence numbers. And this is, well, RFK Jr. has said some very stigmatizing things about autistic people, such as we will never be taxpayers, we will never hold a job, we will never write a poem, we will never go on a date, and we will never use a toilet unassisted. And so what these policy statements send the message to other federal agencies, to state courts and state agencies and federal courts and all government officials as well as society is autism is bad, no matter how you look at it. And so autistic adults in particular, and especially autistic females who have long suffered because of the male bias diagnostic criteria that missed our autism diagnoses timely and early, and so inflicted massive layers of trauma on us throughout our lives. This seems to be a policy agenda going across these federal agencies. So I know I have FBI sponsored hackers on my computer. They are constantly hacking my computer, trying to stop my autism videos. They seize my computer. They send people around the perimeter of my farm property, rapid fire shooting guns to intimidate. It's just like we've heard that the Trump administration has made an enemies list. And I believe that outspoken autistic adults are being put on that enemies list. Now, I published a video the other day addressing the evolutionary nature of autism and how we are a different human variant. Well, immediately after I filed my Social Security appeal to the Appeals Council, challenging the ALJ's refusal to recognize adult autism diagnoses, and immediately after I published that video, bam! I got hit with a retaliatory IRS proposal of levy and seizure, and mind you, that is without ever sending me any tax bill, any recalculation of any of my tax returns. It just came out of nowhere, and it seems like this was a DOGE, Department of Governmental Efficiency, initiated across federal agencies retaliatory strike on me, because it seems that they are looking at me as some type of an adult autistic dissenter, which I am not a dissenter. I'm a Republican. I supported Trump in being voted into the presidency. So this is a real shocker and a real eye-opener. So I just wanted to present the petition I have filed on HHS and RFK Jr. today. At the bottom of everything that's happening to me in my life with the Social Security Administration, this retaliatory enemies list strike on me through the IRS and DOGE, the hacking attacks to try to stop my autism videos, and things that have happened to me within the state of Florida, such as the court access ban, all of it is focused on and centers on the failure to count and recognize adult autism diagnoses, the adult autistic population, we all exist, and especially the late diagnosed female phenotype. So that's my video for today. I will continue to keep all of you updated, and thank you for watching.